Welcome to C. Myers Live. Before we get started, a quick note. You'll hear an AI-generated voice on today's episode. Like most of our clients, we're exploring ways AI can help us work smarter. In this case, we use it to make our podcast more accessible and consistent, while our team focuses on the conversations and insights that matter most to you. At our core, we're a people-first business. The ideas, stories, and expertise in this episode all come from our team. The AI voice is simply a way to share them with you more efficiently. Let's get started.
Welcome to C. Myers Live. Today we're getting into something really core for financial institutions right now. It's about the evolution, the profound evolution really, of the chief financial officer's role.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, think about it. The world's gone digital. Regulations seem to change constantly. Disruptive innovation.
Yeah.
It feels like it's everywhere.
It does.
And this whole environment, it's, well, putting basic questions about relevancy, sustainability right out there for everyone. It's a totally different landscape.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why, as consultants here at C. Myers, we wanted to unpack this a bit for you. Our mission today is to look at some recent analysis that identifies the critical skills, the competencies CFOs really need now.
Okay.
We want to help you grasp what makes a CFO truly strategic in this new world. It's about moving way beyond those traditional expectations.
Right.
Because the old model, where the CFO was mainly about financial integrity reporting, that's just not cutting it anymore. We see it firsthand. Institutions that stick to that. They can lose ground fast, miss opportunities, or worse.
To face unexpected crises they just weren't ready for.
Exactly.
So this redefinition you mentioned, is it just a small shift, or are we talking about something like fundamental, a real transformation in how a CFO has to operate? Because it really sounds like it demands someone who's always thinking ahead, anticipating, seizing opportunities.
Oh, it's absolutely a radical transformation, no question. Think about the sort of traditional CFO archetype, often groomed to be the numbers guru, right?
Data, P&L reports.
Masters of analysis, profit, revenue reports, yeah. But often operating mostly within their own finance silo. Excellent in that box, maybe, but
the box got too small.
Precisely. With all this complexity now, financial, regulatory, the sheer competitiveness out there, that siloed approach just fails.
Yeah, you need someone who can connect the dots faster.
You do. The market demands a CFO who can rapidly translate all this consumer data, financial data, into actual business intelligence. Actionable stuff.
Okay.
So a high-functioning strategic CFO today isn't just reporting history. They're actively enabling the organization to stay relevant, to be nimble.
To respond instead of just react.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To respond effectively to these changing landscapes, not get blindsided. They're truly vital now for long-term health. So if that's the what, the how really comes down to specific skills. And our analysis highlights 7 core competencies for this new strategic CFO.
Okay, 7. Let's get into the first one. You call it being a master of the so what, of the numbers and data. That sounds like more than just reading a spreadsheet.
Oh, much.
It's like distilling it down,
right.
Making it understandable for decision-making, and then, crucially, communicating that across the whole organization. Sounds like a detective role almost.
That's a great way to put it, a financial detective. The CFO can really see the forest, the trees, the bark, and the roots. That whole picture. It requires thinking, analysis at all these different levels, macro down to micro. And importantly, they build cooperative relationships. They have to.
Breaking down those old silos.
Yes. Actively challenging those antiquated, siloed methods that just block progress. That old way, it just slows everything down, puts the whole organization at risk, really.
Can you give an example? Like, what does this look like day to day?
Sure. We've seen situations, let's say, credit card issuance is up maybe 10% year over year. Good news, right?
Sounds good.
But then you see interchange income. The fee the bank earns on swipes hasn't budged. A traditional CFO might just note it. Interesting. But a strategic CFO, they don't just shrug. They immediately dig deeper. They start asking questions like, okay, do these new cards show different usage stats? Are they being used less often?
Wow.
For smaller amounts? At different places.
So the why behind the what.
Exactly. Or even has overall card usage dipped across the whole portfolio, even with the new accounts.
So connecting things that might seem separate.
That's it. And based on those answers, this CFO then reaches out, talks to marketing, talks to lending, maybe even operations, gathers that comprehensive picture and that collaboration. It lets leadership draw really useful conclusions about bigger strategic opportunities or maybe threats. It turns a simple number into a real strategic conversation.
That makes a lot of sense. And that idea of connecting dots leads perfectly into competency number 2. Being proficient at aligning the business model with long-term success measures and aggregate risk tolerances.
Right.
This feels like moving beyond just hitting the quarterly numbers.
Way beyond. Strategic CFOs really elevate goal setting. Their approach is often kind of go big first.
Go big first.
Yeah. They actively sit down with the rest of the C-suite and wrestle with the really tough questions, the fundamental ones, like where do we genuinely want this business to be in 3 to 5 years and why? Or what short-term pain are we actually willing to endure to hit those long-term strategic goals?
So thinking about trade-offs.
Absolutely. It's about understanding what you need to do today to get to that future state, not just setting next year's ROA target. Important, but not the whole story.
Right.
And all the while, they're constantly scanning the horizon, assessing internal risks, external risks, weighing them, aggregating them.
Right.
Because they understand risks rarely pop up alone, right? They tend to combine. A market shift plus a regulatory change plus a new competitor, that's where the real impact often lies.
Okay, that leads into competency number 3, which feels very relevant today.
Right.
Being a multidimensional thinker. That ability to shift gears, right, between creative problem solving, critical thinking, strategic thinking, especially when everyone wants instant answers.
Yeah, fighting that linear thought tendency.
That's the biggest barrier you see leaders facing when trying to develop that skill. It seems tough.
It is tough. That's a really good question because our whole culture pushes for quick answers, immediate fixes. But let's break down those thinking modes. First, the creative problem solver. This person approaches a problem with the belief, the deep belief that there is a solution, and they look for the opportunity within the problem. It's a fundamental mindset shift.
Okay, not just can't be done.
Exactly.
Right.
Then you have the critical thinker. This is someone who didn't just accept conventional wisdom, they question it. They debate issues from different angles. They're curious. They ask really probing questions. They're willing to, as the analysis puts it, peel away many layers to find lasting solutions, not just surface fixes. And they adapt their decision speed, sometimes fast, sometimes slow and deliberate.
Right.
And finally, the strategic thinker. Shares a lot with the critical thinker, but they proactively take that long view with the entire business in mind. They synthesize the creative and critical aspects into this holistic perspective that bakes the future into today's choices.
And the biggest hurdle.
Often, it's that very pressure for speed. It discourages the deep, reflective work these skills demand. You know, in an age where AI promises instant answers, the discipline to actually peel the layers is becoming rarer, which makes it even more vital for leaders.
Let's use an example. Say an institution sees loan growth declining. The immediate reaction might just be,
lower the rates, be more competitive.
Right, the knee jerk.
But a multidimensional thinker, that strategic CFO, they pause, they ask probing questions. Is it really applications that are down? Or are we approving loans but not funding them quickly enough? Could the real issue be maybe we're just taking too long to say yes to the customer, especially now when immediacy is everything, people will just go elsewhere.
Okay, so connecting it back to the customer experience.
Exactly. And then linking that to the bigger picture. How does the situation impact our overall measures of success? If a fast, easy experience is part of our core value proposition,
Then slow funding isn't just hurting loan volume today.
it's potentially damaging our long-term relevancy. So asking those better questions, taking the time to peel back those layers, it leads to much more robust solutions. Solutions that actually support the unique business model. You're diagnosing the real illness, not just slapping a bandage on a symptom.
That makes perfect sense, which flows right into competency number 4. Navigating quickly in the gray. Demonstrating sound decision-making, even with ambiguity. Because, let's be honest, the current landscape forces faster decisions, often without all the perfect data you wish you had. It's like trying to drive in fog.
It really is. And what's interesting, what we see is that strategic CFOs don't run from that uncertainty. They kind of lean into it. They embrace it. They get good at blending the available, often incomplete information with really sound decision-making processes. And key to that is always maintaining that deep grasp of their organization's specific business model.
That acts like a filter.
Exactly. It helps them filter decisions, make better choices, even when things are murky. But, I have to stress, these skills don't just appear overnight. Our work shows it takes real commitment and deliberate focus to build them over time. It's like building muscle.
Right, deliberate practice. Okay, competency number 5 is all about execution, demonstrating consistent and successful execution. And you mentioned a pretty stark statistic. Over 70% of all projects fail. Wow.
It's sobering, isn't it?
So having a clear strategy isn't enough. The real acid test is actually getting the right things done right.
This is where the maybe underrated power of saying no becomes critical.
Focus.
Yes. Strategic CFOs understand that those precious resources, talent, brain power, time, money, they have to be aimed carefully. They play a key role in stopping the organization from spreading itself too thin.
Chasing too many things.
Exactly. Avoiding that common habit of launching initiatives that don't truly align with the core strategy. They help build a culture where daily actions are intentionally linked to the strategic direction and the payoff. You save huge amounts of resources from being wasted on misguided projects, and that directly fuels stronger financial performance and ultimately more capacity for customer giveback too. It's disciplined focus in action.
Makes sense. Okay, number 6. Being adept at choosing, developing, and engaging supporting talent. It feels like a CFO can only truly be strategic if they build the right team around them, right? You can't do it all yourself.
You absolutely cannot. You're only as good as the people you empower. Strategic CFOs get this. They're skilled at both managing the necessary details and driving the big picture, largely because they empower their team to handle those specifics. It frees up their own mental bandwidth to constantly think strategically.
They delegate effectively.
Very effectively. And crucially, they lack hubris. They aren't threatened by having smart people around them. They seek it out. They focus on developing and mentoring their talent, seeing it as a critical investment.
But there's a tough side, too.
There is. The analysis points out they also have to be willing to make those gut-wrenching decisions to trade out players timely and with respect when someone on the team just isn't keeping pace with the new skills needed or the speed of change.
That can't be easy.
It's not. But they recognize it's essential for the team's overall integrity, for its future capability, and frankly, for retaining the high-performing talent you need. You're building a team for tomorrow's challenges, not just maintaining today's status quo.
Got it. And that brings us to the final one, competency 7, which seems to weave through all the others, being the skilled communicator.
Absolutely foundational.
Because translating complex financial data, technical reports, into something meaningful for non-financial leaders, for influencers, that's a real skill. It's not enough to know the numbers. You have to make them matter to others.
You really do. A strategic CFO needs to be a good storyteller. Someone who can use analogies effectively, who values conciseness, and who always keeps that so what front and center. Make the information relevant, compelling.
Right.
But it's more than just presenting data clearly. They also have to navigate the sort of unspoken communication challenges. Things like the fear of conflict in meetings or the danger of echo chambers where everyone just agrees and real debate gets stifled.
Yeah, groupthink.
Exactly. They need to foster an environment where it's okay, even encouraged, to share uncomfortable truths and explore different viewpoints productively.
You know, our founding CEO here at C. Myers always used to emphasize something that feels really relevant here.
Oh, yeah.
He'd say there's a difference between communicating to be understood and communicating to not be misunderstood.
Oh, that's powerful. That's really insightful.
Isn't it subtle but huge?
It is huge. Because that ability, communicating specifically so you cannot be misunderstood, that facilitates the crucial exchange of everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It ensures everyone, stakeholders at all levels, stays engaged, stays open-minded even when the news isn't great. It fosters transparency and that productive disagreement that ultimately leads to much better decisions for the whole institution.
So as we kind of bring this together, it's striking to think about how many organizations haven't navigated change successfully. They've failed to adapt.
It happens too often.
And what this analysis, what our conversation highlights, is that the strategic CFO role is absolutely pivotal in positioning an organization not just to survive, but to actually succeed, both today and looking down the road.
Definitely. But it's crucial to remember becoming that strategic CFO isn't like flipping a switch. It's a journey. It takes real commitment, consistent and deliberate practice, both structured learning and just, on-the-job experience.
And patience.
And as the analysis rightly says, just a touch of patience. Yeah, we strongly recommend that any CFO who wants to be that invaluable asset, especially now, develops a proactive learning plan around these 7 competencies. It's just essential in a financial world that seems to be constantly reshaping itself.
It really is. So as you, our listener, think about these 7 competencies we've discussed, maybe consider this. What single shift in your own mindset, or perhaps in a practice within your team, could have the most immediate positive impact on the strategic conversations happening right now inside your institution?
We hope this conversation brought value to you and supports you in your journey. To explore more insights in past episodes, visit us at cmyers.com. And if you'd like to talk through any questions or connect with one of our consultants, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.